Welcome back to Viewpoint. Now, Sarah Palin, who? Announced that she has a new book coming out about the war on Christmas. So on Facebook, Colette Deneath posted, "I understand she is addressing the over-commercialization of Christmas. Lol." Yes, Colette, you are right to lol, because she is railing against the war on Christmas and commercialization by publishing a book just in time for Christmas. And also on Facebook, Tom Eggebean posted, "Like bad ties and sweaters, her book will go for a dime in next summer's garage sale." How dare you, Tom? Garage sales are a redistribution of wealth. It sounds socialist to me, and Jesus would hate that. If you have a comment for the show, tweet us at Viewpoint CTV or John Fugelsang. Use the hashtag Viewpoint or post it on our Facebook page. That's right. It's a Christmas miracle. It is. Sarah Palin's writing a Christmas book. Now, the upcoming book, and I'm not making up this Dickensian title, A Happy Holiday is a Merry Christmas. It'll call for renewed emphasis on the religious importance of the holiday, and it'll be the first book ever written made up entirely of Facebook status updates. As Palin said in the statement, quote, "This will be a fun, festive, thought-provoking book which will encourage all to see what is possible when we unite in defense of our faith and ignore the politically correct Scrooges who would rather take Christ out of Christmas." That's not what Scrooge tried to do, but I'd hate to say Palin might actually know her stuff, but Dickens does describe Scrooge as being a grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, and Ms. Palin's had a little bit of experience with guys like that. For more on this, I'm now joined by a panel of non-experts. Comedian and world-famous TV star of Texaco Star Theater back in the 50s, Sherrod Small.
Yes, it was a good show.
Editor-in-chief of thecontributor.com, Tina Dupuy, and comedian and author of Moment of Clarity, Mr. Lee Camp. Welcome, folks.
Thanks for having us.
Governor Palin, or half Governor Palin, is writing her third book as long as she doesn't quit halfway through. That seems scary in itself, but isn't this really a story about a cry for attention? I mean, at what point, like a book about the meaning of Christmas, like is she going to release a country album next? I mean, is this a stab at still being in the public eye? That's
Thank God she's back. I was lost and now I am found, John. She is my guiding light. There's a war on Christmas, you know that, and most of the media won't talk about it, but you know who's perpetrating it. Easter. It's the Easter Bunny.
Thank you.
The Easter
Thank
Bunny's
you.
a war
Yes, it
criminal,
is.
and you're not talking about it, John.
Now, I'm letting you talk about it, Lee. Tina, are you as a humorist pleased that Sarah Palin's back?
Well, first off, I thought this was going to be a children's book.
Me
so
too.
I'm really disappointed. I really thought that, because it's kind of condescending and it's kind of,
well, it sort of is, isn't
yes,
it?
but also, and I would like to point out that holiday is actually a form of holy days. Mm-hmm. So it means holy days means a Merry Christmas, which is so redundant and redundant and redundant and repetitive. Yeah. But I also this is not her war. I don't get it. The whole thing is just like, really?
Well, it's also a vulgar title. Sure, I think about it. Saying a happy holiday is a Merry Christmas unless you're Jewish, right? I mean,
well, holiday is holy day. You're right about that. It is kind of double talk. I guess holiday only really works on Flag Day. Mm-hmm. When you don't have to, But I think that, first of all, Sarah, leave the writing to the writers, the Judy Blooms of the world.
You love her. Come on. You love her.
I love Sarah Palin. I do love her because she's always a good laugh.
She's always.
I even watch on Dancing with the Stars and sit in the audience. I love it.
My whole problem with the war on Christmas thing, and just to briefly, is that by saying happy holidays, you're trying to have a more inclusive thing that offers love and support to everyone, regardless of what fan club they belong to. Happy holidays is more Christian than Merry Christmas.
I'm Jewish and we don't want any part of it, so you can have it.
I always thought the holidays meant New Year's. When people say happy holidays, they say it after Christmas and before New Year's.
Well, that's because you hate Kwanzaa.
That is true.
I always say Merry Christmas, though. I always say Merry Christmas.
It's just a game to get money. Is it possible we can just send her a certain amount of money and she won't put out the book?
No, and you wouldn't like that, because every time she opens her mouth, a Democrat gets a vote. However, when we first announced on Facebook and Twitter today we were going to be talking about this, asking people for their comments, the number one thing I got from our progressive friends is, what do you mean stay relevant? She's not relevant. Hundreds of people wanting to spend their time talking about how irrelevant this person is.
They're making her relevant.
Exactly. and my point also is she is relevant, whether we like it or not. Number one, because comedians love her. Yes. Number two, because there is no Republican politician alive, outside of Dick Cheney, who will criticize Sarah Palin ever because they covet her endorsement for any race they're in.
I disagree. She is not a kingmaker. She is not a kingmaker. Even in the last election,
she couldn't make
the last
Gingrich.
two elections, she picked people who were already ahead and then said, I endorse them.
No, she picked Gingrich over Romney
Yeah,
first.
well, see, she's not a
But
kingmaker.
name me a Republican outside.
I mean, she had a 50-50
name me
shot.
a Republican.
But John, relevant is not a kingmaker. And she was disinvited from the RNC happily. She got kicked off of Fox News, and now she's at CPAC. That does not make her
What makes her
teenage.
relevant
She's
is
going to be a
that
rock star at CPAC. You'll see. They're going to turn out for her because they need a hero.
Going to be. But this is like kind of a push for her. This is like her star is really on its descent, not on its ascent.
She has more speaking time than Paul Ryan slotted at CPAC.
Right, but that's because it's Paul Ryan and he's a weenie. That's why.
Fair point, Sherrod.
I think I just forgot my point. Sarah, what was I about to say? Ah, God.
But you got a solid Sarah out there, so that's important.
I had a good point. Here it is.
Please.
She's always relevant because whenever you say her name in any room you are in, 20 people got 20 opinions about her, and they all want to be heard. So she's always a fire starter.
And the media loves her because she's cracked for ratings. Maybe not on this network, but elsewhere.
It used to be. I think that used to be true. I don't think that, like, really, you used to be able, and just from, like, internet hits, just from being an editor on an internet site, when you do a Sarah Palin story, it blew up. No longer.
I want you to come back after her CPAC speech. I want you to.
She's no longer link bait.
But John, Fox
really isn't.
Fox even dropped her.
Right.
Yes, they did.
For that reason, because she was more money than she was.
But in
ratings.
a party that's starved for leaders, they'll take a phony, fake celebrity. And that's what she is at this point. I'm not going to dispute that.
That's all she ever was. But I'm telling you, she's not. She's not
the same thing she used to be.
She might be the first person ever who should have run for president just to keep her celebrity going. Because I would say that she missed her chance. She needed to run last year. She would have been an embarrassment. Yes, she would have probably stayed into the Final Four.
She didn't want to study for the debate.
She didn't want to study. And Michelle Bachmann did.
Yeah, that took a lot of effort to run for president. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, I also think that
you can have someone else write a book, you put your name on it, and you just kind of, and then you have someone else pin your updates on Facebook, and then you get to like tweet about your husband and put up pictures, and then you're making money.
Sherrod, is there a Republican alive more popular than Sarah Palin?
I think Chris Christie.
Yeah?
I think Chris Christie is who everybody's looking toward. If you never voted Republican before, he's your only option.
Lee, I have a lot of conservative family who still love her. I'm talking like middle-aged men who love Palin. I mean, do you think there's a bigger star than her?
That's the reason why they like her.
I think she's the president of Facebook.
Well, it's probably true, but you know, I look forward to seeing what happens. With more speaking time allotted than Paul Ryan at CPAC, I think it's going to be the Sarah Palin show.
Yeah.
And we might not like it, but I'll tell you something, who likes her more than any Republican is the news media. Because Fox might have dropped her, but CNN loves her, MS loves her, and even the Sarah Palin hate industry is so lucrative that she's sort of like another Limbaugh.
Yeah, I think that we're all kind of bored of her. I really do. Yeah, I don't. I think the people that like to hate on her, that really enjoyed that. I mean, I'm just going but I'm going from an editorial stance of like you put that up. It just doesn't go viral anymore. No one cares.
Wow.
Like, this is the most interesting thing she's done in about a year.
So what you're saying is it's all up to Herman Cain.
Yeah, pretty much. he is the hope of our party.
My panel will stay with me after the break when we ask the most important question in politics. Who writes the history books? Coming up next.
White people.
Welcome back. One more quick question for the guests. We talked about her earlier. How do you think history will remember America's sweetheart, Sarah Palin? Sherrod Small?
I think America remember her fondly. Huh?
Why?
Lee, I said it from the green room. Because you know what? She was a good laugh. We like a good laugh, huh?
Nice.
She seemed like she was more fun than Susan B. Anthony. She did a lot of great things.
I agree.
No one cares about Susan B.
No, but she'll look hotter on money. Tina Dupuy?
You mean herstory.
Herstory.
For our feminist icon.
And I mean women with a Y,
Working mother, yes.
How will she be remembered?
In herstory, fondly.
Lee Camp?
As the savior of Christmas? No, as the last gasp of idiot America. That's what that will be.
And maybe as the woman who got Barack Obama elected.